This is an example of one of the paintings that's in my current exhibition of No Escaping the Housework. And the way I'm producing these guys is that I'm hand drawing this stencil that I then cut and pull out the negative or the positive and then start building up paint layer by layer, sanding, filling in, painting more, and just kind of building up to a nice sort of defined volume. And then everything else is essentially hand painted. There's no other masking other than this raised elements right here. And I like that. I like that the line and the edge tends to waver, and even though it feels kind of precise, it still has its inconsistencies. I typically make all of my canvases. There's an example of what the backs look like. And this is a 2-component piece. This piece comes out. Everything that I do kind of starts small scale, and I do studies of it. But this is kind of based on this juice called boing that's, I think, predominantly like in Mexico and like South America, I believe, but my brother used to really like it when we were younger, and so when he came back from Mexico, all he would say is like that he wanted this juice. And so like last time I was visiting, I seen this ice chest that was flipped upside down and getting cleaned, and it was just kind of this grimy old white ice chest, and then the middle of it had the font of the boing juice, and it kind of called out to me. And that's typically kind of how I'm pulling a lot of these references. And this one is based on this older drawing that I had done with the Foster Freeze element that said cream, and it was more just like distinguishable, like the writing cream. And that was smaller, and that what I tend to do when I go bigger in my paintings, I like to kind of zoom in or crop or kind of figure out how I'm able to use the text or the fonts the same way you would use a ruler to kind of cut through or across the surface. I'm looking at positioning these letters or these forms, I like to call them forms, to kind of cut through the visual space. And I call them like Ellsworth Kelly moments, where you get color and edge that pulls and it comes right to a nice perfect peak or cut. This one's from, I believe, 2017, and it's kind of an ode to John McCracken. In a way, it's meant to sit on the floor, and the kind of specs is technically, I believe it's 16 wide, and it's essentially like a stack of bricks, and then this form kind of gets pulled off and disrupts the plank by like pulling this kind of brick form out from underneath. And yeah, this little kind of line right there is indicating like a mortar line, 2 bricks. Yeah. This whole series is called Snake in the Grass, and it's essentially that play on that word of like, be careful for the snakes in the grass, keep your grass cut. I think it tends to be more utilized or used in like street culture. I kind of like using the blades of grass to very poorly disguise the text, sort of as like the text is kind of dancing around or trying to disguise itself, but it's obvious that it's there. I might come back and focus on a certain area of this and make a bigger composition out of this. I pick up a lot of stuff from the floor, things that are kind of just litter, and they call out to me just because of like this is got torn. It was obvious. I think it was like a cigar pack, and it cropped off the text, so that kind of speaks to me visually. This series of works that I'm working on, they're titled If It Don't Make Dollars, It Don't Make Sense. It's based on this 8.5 by 11 that I found on the floor, and when I opened it up, it was a multiplication chart of 3s that someone had either discarded or lost on their commute. There was like a lot of, to me, what felt like anxiety in the writing. I remember being that age and doing multiplication and not being very good at it, so it really resonated. I have my partner read off what she's seeing and the numbers, so like she'll read off 27, 24, 21, 18. Looks like that 8 is a little thin and long. The 5 is kind of coming down. So she'll like describe to me all these details so that I'm trying not to replicate it visually. I'm trying to replicate it sort of what by ear, what I'm hearing. There's another example, like the 8 looks like it's been kind of gone over several times, or that was a 6, he made a mistake, but he corrected it. There's the original errors of the original 8.5 by 11. And so what I do is I give myself these good job stickers, gold star, just to kind of give myself the win, even though like I was terrible at math when I was younger. And then all of them have this kind of doodle component. Several more. They all have like black. I've limited it to just like a black doodle, and then the color comes in with the stickers to kind of really emphasize, you know, the kind of good job factor of the sticker. These are based on like fridge magnets that are Cooper Black, made out of like vacuum form plastic, and they're really like non-sophisticated objects, but I wanted to blow them up to kind of shrink down this Baldessari fridge magnet that I'd found in like a tchotchke bin like 13 years ago. And this piece is titled Tips for Artists Who Want to Make a Mill, Who Can't Afford to Make a Mill. Kind of riff on tips for artists who want to sell. And that's kind of where the EBT comes from. It comes back to like this piece that I'd done maybe like in 2015 or something like that, where it's kind of like the disclaimer that's on the old food stamp booklet from like the 90s or something like that. I remember growing up essentially poor, and like my parents would use food stamps, and there was always this kind of feeling of like you knew you were supposed to be embarrassed because it wasn't real money, but you didn't know why. I don't know, I think this might have been my intro to using text as well in my paintings, which is nice. So this is part of that piece over there, the cream piece, and essentially I do this little character of the Foster frieze, and at this point I've kind of been able to abstract it to kind of like the silhouette or the ghost of it, and this is the smiley face from the Foster frieze. I'm just kind of associating like this 4-leaf clover, like this icon of luck, with making money, making cream. And yeah, so I'm doing like several drawings, and then I'll probably turn some of the drawings into paintings. And so yeah, this is the Foster frieze icon, and originally it has all like kind of the line detail that like defines like the head, the little cone body, and the feet, but I kind of just was interested in the shell of it. Yeah, I'm gonna do several kind of drawings of this. I might do one where it's like kind of elongated, like several scoops. But yeah, not make graphite pencil and color pencil renditions of it.